Yes, so the collaboration with XLR was an excellent one. We conducted a Power BI workshop with Advanced Excel over a span of 3 days. The workshop was almost 12 hours long in total. Mr. Karthik, who was an amazing trainer, helped the students understand the concepts deeply. I am sure that the students will be able to apply these concepts in their careers as well as their daily lives.
The trainer, Mr. Karthik, was an excellent person where he explained in very detailed manner on how to give great insights using very complex data sets.
So it was a machine learning workshop. We learned a lot from the course, and it was a great experience attending the workshop.
The trainer was very helpful. He had a hands-on approach with his teaching, and it was fabulous.
This was a great experience for me. So I would absolutely love it if XLR and its team would come again to our campus and conduct more events like this.
It was a great course, and it started from basics and took me to a great extent.
The experience of the workshop was really nice. The feedback from all the students was positive. They understood the concept. The workshop was also practical based with some questions. The experience with XLR was very smooth. They helped us in conducting the workshop smoothly right from the booking of the vendor and deciding the course till the distribution of certificates. In overall, this workshop was a success during our Technical Fest Atmos, and I thank XLR for being a part of it.
was very much interested in learning digital marketing course for a very long period of time, but I don't get a proper platform. So later from our college, I get to know about XLR and I enrolled in XLR course. It was really good experience. Our course has been taken by Mayur sir, and he was very good teacher. He not only focusing on theory part, he is doing how real digital marketing works, and it was in total very good experience. I get so much of knowledge. Here they're not only focusing on study, they're also conducting different exams to test our knowledge. And as we are giving the exam, so to appreciate our work, they give certificates for the toppers, and along with the certificate they give hampers. Thank you, XLR.
Recently, I was searching for digital marketing courses online in Google, and I came across XLR, and I attended a digital marketing course which was for 15 days. My mentor Mayur helped me for attending these classes. So he is a very informative and helpful guy. In the course end, there is a exam which I topped. So I came to the XLR office in Bengaluru. This digital marketing course has helped my career and my skills to develop, and the certificate has helped my company to join. Thank you, XLR.
I came to know about this course from my college. Actually, for learning platform, this is very nice, and I learned from here ChatGPT and AI from online. Because he's teaching for me for AI generative and ChatGPT. We are using this technology in more. And after finishing the courses, I came for collecting the certificate. I seen the classrooms and faculties. Classroom is very nice. After the completion of exam, they will give gift and certificates. Thank you, XLR, for giving these courses. I learned a lot from this. I gained the more knowledge from here. And thank you for XLR for teaching us.
Hello guys, I'm Vikram Mahajan and I'm studying in Swami Vivekananda Institute of Technology College, and I came across a training program which was mobile app development using Flutter, which was given to us by XLR Solutions. I came across this program through my college faculty who told us about this program, that it is a very good course and you should enroll in this course. So I enrolled in this course, and initially I felt really good about this course because they started everything from a very basic point of view, that even if someone who doesn't know anything about Flutter or anything about mobile app development can also learn the same way the ones who know about it are learning. So no student was left behind and everyone was given equal attention. All the doubts throughout the course were cleared. And if we had any questions also, we were like, the trainer was also ready to stay for a longer time than it was scheduled, even for the sake of doubts. So that shows how important the students are to them. So it was a really good experience with XLR's program, and by the end of the training program, I was able to develop my own application. And through the development also, there was another point. So our sir taught us about how we can connect our own mobile phone to our laptop and write code in our laptop, and you can see the output in your phone. It was really creative and interesting for me. I felt really good about that. So in the end, I developed my own mobile application. I showed it to my mother. I showed it to my friends. I felt really good about it. So I would really suggest XLR. I would recommend it to all my friends to take courses from here, as they focus on the children, focus on the students, and they focus on what's necessary. That is, the students' doubts gets cleared and everything else. So today I came down to the XLR office like to collect my certificate. So I got to know about what other courses XLR is offering. It included data analysis, data analyst, social media marketing, and full stack Java, and many more courses which were interesting, and they gave us an insight of how everything happens, and they take you through the course from the starting of the course to the end, and what next, that is placements as well. How you should be going into the interviews and how you should be approaching to companies, your resume building, and there were so many things which XLR is going to help you in, and they are ready to give you all the knowledge required even if you are a beginner. So I really felt good about this visit, and I would really recommend XLR to everyone who's listening to this, and also to all my friends, that I had a very good experience with XLR, and I would suggest you to experience the same. Thank you.
All right. So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the day 3 session of our 15-day program. Right on generative AI and agentic AI. So let us continue from what we have left off. Let us continue the concept of first the transformers, and then we'll move into different concepts. So if you have any doubts, you can post it in the chat. So that I can answer your questions. So let me share my screen. Yeah. So as you know, we are in day 3. So let us talk through the concepts. Right. So yesterday we were discussing about the all important a very important concept, particularly in the field of particularly in the field of generative AI. So such a very important concept, that is the transformers. So we have seen that there are 3 important architectures which are there in the generative AI in the current industry or current market. So the 3 architectures which we have seen are GANs, VAEs, and the transformers. So or the transformer or transformers, anything you can call, not a problem. So coming, yesterday, a few people were also asking that, what is the best, framework or architecture, in the 3. And I've also answered a question, answered the question in a way that, one is an upgrade of the other. So obviously the newer one will be a better. Even at the last, I was getting a few questions, based on that. So obviously the newer one will be a better, application, or I would say, architecture, Why? Because it is an upgrade over the previous generations or previous architectures. So, and so many applications currently in the industry, or I would say the applications which you are using kind of right now, most of them actually are powered by transformers. So, and the most important aspect of how transformers can be used is how it actually performs when coming to the generative tasks, or generative performing generative task in the AI applications. So the let us see why transformers excel at generative tasks. So they can handle long range dependencies well, and it can be pre-trained on massive corpora and fine-tuned for specific tasks. So we are using prompt engineering, right? So prompting we are doing for the GPT technologies, right? And it is tuned well, particularly in by making them to understand by a context-based understanding. So context-based understanding, we will talk about the BERT technology, which is developed by Google, which is a very important technology, which is actually based upon the architecture transformers. So this is extremely scalable, supporting billions of parameters, and then it is very efficient and parallel processing than the RNNs. So RNN is nothing but the recurrent neural networks. So in deep learning, we have two important components. One is the CNN and one is for RNN. Okay, so CNN is convolutionary neural networks and RNN is recurrent neural networks. CNN is basically used for images and RNN is basically used for text. So this transformer technology, I would say, it's an upgrade in the architecture from RNN. So people still use RNN as a we have already discussed on that. So obviously the upgrade will be a bit better, right? So it is based upon the kind of task what we are trying to do. Maybe RNN suits us, maybe transformer suits us much better because it's more adapted to the the technology what we can use in the current industry or the current world. So what are the challenges when we use transformers is it requires a lot of hardware power. So then this particular part I've actually raised. So on this we will talk bit detail about the big players in the market, like the Nvidia. So we'll talk about that also. I'll try to also cover the chipset manufacturer AMD as well. So AMD and Nvidia is what these two companies are actually trying to power the chipsets, right? The architecture they are actually building, right? They are using this technology of transformers to build their architecture of or designing the semiconductors or chipsets. So many of you particularly who know about their computers, you might be knowing about the graphic card companies, Nvidia and all, right? So these people, even the latest RTX 50 graphic cards are out. They're very expensive because all those graphic cards are basically based upon DLSS 4, right? So all these things are coming from the architecture of a transformer. So that is why the technology actually currently you always know that a recent technology will be always costly. So because it requires a lot of manpower, it requires a lot of machine work, it requires a lot of hardware, right? So the tough part, or I can say the challenges in generating by using generative AI for the AI applications currently in the industry, or currently in the market. So like yesterday a few people were giving a few AI tools as well, like the Leonardo AI, Sora. All these things need to be powered by an architecture or semiconductors, right? So they require some powerful hardware to process this. So this is very, very I would say it becomes more costly. So that is why the AI applications what we have to purchase, it costs a bit because of this hardware, which it takes a lot of money, I would say, right, to develop these. So next is bias and hallucination. So, sometimes they can generate some incorrect data. So that is always there with the artificial intelligence. So that is always the risk which is there. Even, next to 10 years also, we might, have this problem with bias and hallucination. So this will actually go on. This challenge will continue even after 10 years. So next is explainability is outputs can be difficult to interpret or control. So sometimes understanding the output or the different kinds of aspects differ from certain parameters. So the applications, we have seen a few of how transformers are basically used in the generative AIs. So we have the chatbots, we have the assistants like the chatting assistant or conversational assistant or conversational AI with like the ChatGPT, and some others like the Google Gemini, right? And then we also have Microsoft Copilot and so on. So next is creative writing. So now with a lot of model building, particularly using this transformer architecture, the model building has gone to a next level where we can also get new stories, new poems or poems, right? So new scripts, new content, which can be generated based on the learning or the model building what it is it's able to achieve. So then we have the data to text generation, which is the report automation, and then giving captions to video descriptions and video descriptions. Then we have synthetic data generation for AI training. So this synthetic data generation is a huge breakthrough in the field of generative AI, because sometimes yesterday also I was talking on this point, because sometimes what happens is in certain areas, particularly in the medical field, right, it is very difficult to gather the data. So sometimes generating data based upon the situations, right, and scenarios for learning purpose, right? So it is very important to understand certain things. So the synthetic data generation is quite the biggest achievement what we are able to achieve by using the transformer architecture for generative AI. So this is the it may look bit different, and few people might understand, or so no worries. So this is basically the entire architecture of a transformer. So transformer uses different deep learning techniques. It uses different probability techniques, right? It also uses different NLP techniques like the tokenization, right? And it uses this activation functions. Those are very important when it comes to deep learning aspects. So this softmax, all those you're seeing, those are basically the activation functions. So let us see the impact of transformers into generative AI. So what is the impact they are creating, right? By this time, we would have already understood that, how it has, transformed the area of generative AI, and, how this generative AI has become a buzzword. So the first point is the revolutionized model design. So that is what I was telling you about, the architecture of the entire, because every for if you want to design a hardware, right, it is very important to the architecture plays a very important role. So for example, like the processors or graphic cards, the architecture plays a very important role when you are actually generating. So the design plays a very important role when you are actually building something. So next is the first one is the revolutionized model design. So before transformers, these generative models used to rely heavily on the RNNs, LSTMs, or CNNs. So CNNs, I told convolutionary neural networks. RNN is recurrent neural networks, and LSTMs are long short-term memory. So these are actually very, very, very strong technologies. So if you can Google them later and you can search, these RNN, CNNs, and LSTMs are very, very, very strong. But this transformers is even more stronger. simple one-liner to understand the transformers. So transformers replaced recurrence with attention, right? Because transformers is based upon the model which is based upon attention model. So enabling models to capture global context and long-term dependencies far more effectively. So next is, result is models can generate coherent paragraphs, complex images, meaningful code, and even music also. So the impact of this revolutionized model design is introduced scalable, parallelizable architectures, enabling breakthrough models like the GPT models and the Gemini, Google Gemini, what you are kind of seeing right now. So next is the scalability, massive language models. So the impact what these languages are creating, let us see. So transformer based models like the GPT-3 and GPT-4 are among the largest neural networks ever built. So they serve as a foundation models for a wide range of applications. So the impact what this has actually created is made it possible to train one model for many tasks. So this point, one model for many tasks, because you are actually using a GPT, right, in different contexts for different things, but it is able to generate a solution, right, or a output for that particular question or context what you have asked. But the model is one, but it is able to generate. So this is what the biggest breakthrough in this transformer is, that one model for many tasks. So there is I will explain this also. There are different kinds of things in the GPT, like the few shot, zero shot, that we will just see that in a while. So next is multi-domain generative capabilities. So best thing is how these different areas or domains where this generative models are applicable for by the usage of a transformer. So next, text generation is GPT, T5, and BERT. So image generation, DALI, right? We will also see today or tomorrow we will see some of the images which can be generated by using DALI as well. Okay, so stable diffusion, right? And then audio music generation, right? So jukebox and music LM. So I don't know how many of you have tried this audio, music generation. I have not tried actually. Text and image generation, video generation, code generation, all these things I've tried. Probably you can try this audio and music generation as well. So you can use this jukebox and music LM for, these are the two applications which can be used for audio and music generations. So next is the video generation. We have the Sora, right? So Sora can be used for images as well as videos. So make a video is also there, which is which is from Meta. So make a video, I don't know, maybe you would have tried, right? Sora I have used, but I've not tried this make a video. So code generation is Codex and Alpha code. So the impact is enabled cross-model generative AI, expanding possibilities beyond traditional NLP. So this multi-model, right, is or multiple here we have actually discussed. So one model for many tasks, or you can say multi domain or multiple areas where it is able to actually achieve. So next is democratization of creativity and automation. So tools like ChatGPT, what we are using right now, GitHub Copilot, Notion AI, Midjourney, and Canva AI rely on transformer models. So that by this time we would have already understood that the current AI tools mostly are dependent upon transformers. So non-technical users can now create high quality content with simple prompts. So how to give the prompts? How to give a prompt in an effective way? We will see that as a part of this program as well. So the impact is lowered the barrier to entry for creativity, productivity, and automation. So industry disruption, what it has done, right? In the education industry, particularly personalized tutoring, AI essay graders, healthcare is report generation, medical question for answering, marketing AI copywriters, image creators, software development is AI pair programmers, then legal and finance is document summarization and contract generation. So this impact, what is the impact that this has created is enabled faster, cheaper, and often more innovative processes across the sectors. Now let us see the catalyst for agentic AI. So the transformers power autonomous agents like the tools like the Auto GPT, right? Auto GPT I have not tried. Probably a few would have tried, right? So LangChain I've used, right? LangChain is a very, I would say, very one of the great, I would say, for agentic AI. So that plan, reason, and act. So serves as a brain for agents to use tools, memory, and feedback for complete goals. So impact is this goal-directed AI that go beyond single prompt response interactions. So this goal-based AI agents are actually one of the this was there before, even before the generative AI has come up into the AI technology. There are goal-based goal-based AI agents which are already available. So this transformer has made even more creative act, think, right, and optimize something on their own. So it has created a particular for that goal it has improvised, innovated, probably we can say like that. So next is research and innovation explosion. So massive academic output post 2017 on transformers and variants, long former, reformer, and performer. So accelerated progress in multi-model AI, few shot learning, and instructor tuning. So impact is created an ecosystem of next gen AI models and learning paradigms. So I told you, 2017, the field of AI is one thing. 2017 onwards, the field of AI is completely different, right? I can say, before transformers, after transformers. So, AI before transformers and AI after transformers, things have changed hugely. So complete the structure, the complete the fate, or the way we look, the way we are looking at artificial intelligence, this has changed completely post 2017. So 8 years of transformer technology, we have come a long way, right? Probably we don't know how many, what will happen in the next 12 years, right? So 8 plus 12, so it will become 20 years of transformers. So we have to see how much of growth will happen, right, in the field of generative AI. So before going into large representation models, which are very important when we have to understand the concept of BERT. So before that, if you have any doubt, probably you can just post it in the chat. I'll just answer that questions. So if you have anything, just please quickly put it in the chat. I'll just take up a 5 minutes, something like that, and we'll continue with the language models. Sorry. No questions as of now. Yesterday it was flooding with questions. Yeah. Probably would have got some idea on the whole that how as a how generative AI as a as a technology works. So that is very important. Generative AI is not just giving a prompt and getting the solution. There is a lot to understand that how what is the architecture, what is the the hardware it uses, right? What are the things which are supporting that, how it works, what is prompt engineering. So all these things are what makes it as generative AI. Sorry. So I think no questions, maybe. Okay, fine. So if you have anything, please post it in the chat. I'll just answer it. No problem. Okay. Yeah. So we'll continue as there are no questions. I was just saying. Okay, so can you explain agentic AI in simple terms? Okay. So, we actually have not gone that much into agentic AI, but to explain in a simple, in a simple language, what is agentic AI? Agentic AI, and I think you might be knowing about what is a smart home. Probably you might know what is a smart home, right? So smart home has multiple things. For example, to unlock your house and go into your house, probably you might be using a fingerprint or maybe a face unlock, right? And when you enter the house, the house welcomes you, right? It switches on the lights, correct? And probably if you want, it will switch on the music, right? Fan, right? Or maybe air conditioner if you want. So what helps to do all these things together, right? That is called, we are calling on the whole as a smart home, correct? No? That smart home is what is agentic AI. That means something which has multiple agents in it is basically called as an agentic AI. Here you can see that let us say you're unlocking by a face. Okay, so you're unlocking your house to enter the house by using a face, your face maybe. Okay, so this unlocking through the face is an AI agent. The light sensor, it's an AI agent, right? So these are actually agents, but the whole structure which is actually powering this AI agents, this multiple AI agents, is what is called as agentic AI. In a simple way, you can remember like this: something which powers the AI agents to function together, because these agents communicate with each other. I will tell you this when we discuss about AI agents, because these agents have multi-agent way. That means each agent will communicate with each other. They have to communicate, or else each one will not perform its duty, because it is not knowing what to do, because they don't have that communication. So that I'll cover in AI agents. But on the whole, if you have say that smart home entire structure, you can remember it as like a agentic AI, and each sensor or each task, what is happening inside the house, is a agent. I think one more. Okay, so this is showing like this. Okay, fine. I think only one question. Okay, great. Fine. So continue. Right. So now let us understand that what is a language representation model. So for representation, there is a particular area when we say natural language processing. So inside the natural language processing, there is bit of advancements as well. So these advancements are made using this transformer technology. So this advancements, I would say, have happened in the field of this natural language or machine learning, where the understanding of context has become a very, very integral part. Now, when you say a particular sentence, right, the machine has to understand that which kind of context you are actually referring to. That context understanding is actually done using the technology called as language representation model. So what happens in this language representation model is it will understand process, right? And it will, see, when I say understand, right, it will understand that what kind of context you are actually speaking about. So which context that particular word in your sentence refers to, right? What exactly you are asking for, right? So this technology was actually, embedded inside BERT, which was actually found by Google. So what does a language representation model actually do? It will understand the meaning and the structure of the text. This is the biggest breakthrough what has happened after 2017. So we were discussing, before I was, I divided the AI era into two parts. One is before 2017 and after 2017. For me, it is like that only. I feel that way because 2017 was a breakthrough year. So, perform tasks like classification, translation, summarization, and question answering. So this is the functions and description. What, there are three important things. So embedding is transforming the words into vectors. So vector is nothing but a combination of multiple scalars. So context understanding or contextual understanding is capturing the exact meaning. For example, if you say bank, the example bank or the usage of the word bank, there are multiple meanings. So bank also refers to financial institute, right? So there is also one more is we can say river bank. So if you say river bank, fine, but if you say bank, it's also correct, right? So I am sitting, watching the bank, right? So here I would say, it might be a river bank, right? So the the understanding that which context you are actually giving, right? What does the other words help you to understand that what is this bank about? That is that conceptual understanding or contextual understanding is what this large language, or you can say language representation models actually do. I'm getting large language LLM, right? So this is actually language representation model. Okay. So next is the transfer learning. So this is one more important component, I would say. So pre-training on the larger data sets, and this is also fine-tuned using the NLP tasks. So now let us see some of the technologies which are developed using the language models. So the first one and the foremost one always I will put currently in the current market, I would say, is BERT. So this is a bidirectional model which is actually good for classification tasks. So next comes the GPT, which is developed by OpenAI, as we know. So this is basically generative. It is also an auto-aggressive, strong in text generation. So next is Elmo. This is developed by Allen NLP. So contextual word embeddings using the LSTMs. So LSTMs, I told long short-term memory is what LSTM is. So word to vector, again, this was developed by Google. So this is basically used for static words. Okay. So next is the glove, which is developed by Stanford University. You might be knowing. So global co-occurrence based static embeddings. So next is the Robota, where what the Facebook uses. So enhanced version of BERT with better performance. So this BERT technology, this Facebook. So you guys know that Meta is owning the Facebook. So these people have purchased the technology from BERT, not BERT, sorry, Google. BERT is a model actually. Okay, it has purchased from Google. So many people are actually using the BERT technology. Google sold it for a lot of companies actually. It's a because it's one of the biggest breakthrough. So obviously Google is a company which it's a business company. So obviously it will sell its products. So obviously it has sold to many other companies as well. So next is why they are important. So language models like the BERT and GPT are like a backbone for the, I would say, to the modern NLP. So understanding the grammar, tone, relationship between the words, right? Allowing for building the advanced tools like the chatbots, translators, summarizers, and search engines. So these are the very important things which we are using on a day-to-day life. For example, we are using a translator, we are using a chatbot, right? So we are using the search engine. So these are all have become an integral part, which based upon the BERT model and the GPT model. So there are two things. One is the static and one is the contextual. So what we are using in Google kind of right now, or the GPTs, all are contextual based. That means it understands the meaning by using the surrounded words in the particular sentence or other words in the particular sentence. Static models like the word to vector and glove. So these are bit of older. Now very few people are using these static models. So this is actually single meaning regardless of the context. So for example, if we say we have trained a model like bank is a financial institute. So even if you give a river, we meant river bank or bank, which is a river bank, it takes that it's a financial institution. That is a static one. So we have trained like that, so it will work like that. So contextual is not like that. So here, I was telling you an example about this, the bank example. So he sat by the bank to watch the boats. Now here, when the model has to understand, right, the key word it will pick is the word boats. Why? I'll tell you. He doesn't make any sense. Those are actually stop words in NLP language. So if you're knowing, NLP, natural language processing, you might be knowing, what I'm speaking about. Stop words are something which doesn't relate in model building, which doesn't give you any meaning to build a model is what stop words is. Okay. So STOP, stop words. So he, by, the, to, the, all these are stop words. So all these are not used to build a model. Okay. So when we are building a model or when we start training the model, before that we remove the stop words in each sentence before we actually train, before even tokenizing the words also. So here, if you see that, that is why, and it will use here it has one more words apart from the stop words, that is watch and sat. But you can also watch and sit for the bank also, correct? No, that isn't where it will, this contextual understanding only BERT model will do. That is what only I'm trying to tell you. So it will think, that is why I told 2017 before, 2017 after, two parts of artificial intelligence. So the machine is capable of thinking that, okay, sat and watch doesn't provide me good result, telling that whether it is a river bank or whether it is a financial institute. So let us search for other words. So then it will identify, removing the stop words and bank. There are only three, right? Sat, watch, and boats. So it will go to the boats. So boat cannot be there in a financial institute, right? So definitely this is a river bank. That capability BERT model has. Google has developed that. So that is why we are using transformers and the language representation models. This is the development these models are capable of by understanding the context. Now, let us come to the very important, one of my favorites, I would say. BERT is one of my favorite transformer technology. So BERT is a revolutionary language representation model which was developed by Google AI. So Google AI, they have a team called as Google's Brain Team, right? So this Google's Brain Team has developed this technology. So they have released this in October 2018. Why in October, or I can say 2018? Because 2017 was the year where transformer technology came into existence. So Google needed the technology like transformers, right? To, actually even the transformer technology was developed by Google. So it was Vaswani was the person, and that fellow actually is working in Google. So, so this, it made Google to develop their own, model, this bidirectional encoded representation, which is, we are calling it as BERT, right? Easy to remember as BERT. But if you want to remember what is BERT, you can remember like bidirectional encoder representations. Okay, so that's why they named it as BERT. So they had the access to this transformer. So because it was invented by one of their developers, their Google AI team. So it transformed the field of NLP by introducing deep bidirectional pre-training. So please remember, these keywords. So allowing models to deeply understand the context of words in a sentence. So now, what is a BERT? So BERT is based upon transformer encoder architecture. This one is not an encoder and a decoder, right? Like the GANs. It is not an encoder and a decoder. It's only an encoder. That is why this is only used for encoding. This is only used for classification tasks. So unlike the GPT, which uses only the decoder part. So GPT is a decoder, right? GPT is a decoder. BERT is an encoder. So this is the very important thing to understand when we understand BERT, transformers, GPT, and all these things. So it's designed to read text in both the directions, from left to right and right to left, simultaneously, to build a richer understanding of the language. That is why they are calling it as bidirectional. So understanding happens from left to right as well as from right to left. So what are the tasks this BERT will do is masked language modeling. So randomly, it actually generates the tokens and predicts them to understand. So the cat sat on the mask. Now BERT predicts that it is not masked, but it is a mat. You would have you would have experienced this when you are using the Google search. So when you type something, did you mean this? It will ask you, right? Yes, it's BERT. You're using BERT every day in your life, but you don't know. That is what only BERT is, right? Because Google doesn't tell you that you're using BERT. It's their model to, their model, right? Which is built upon the transformer architecture. So next sentence prediction is learns whether a sentence B logically follows the other. So helps with the Q&A tasks. So some of the very use cases is, I should have put this Google search at the top, right? Because the most common use case where BERT is used is the Google search. You are using, when you're searching something in Google, you are using a BERT model. You're using a BERT model which uses the transformer architecture. So now tell me whether you're using it on every day or not. Yes, you're using transformer architecture without you knowing that it's a transformer. So you're using the transformer architecture, you're using the BERT model, right, for classification tasks, right? And it is doing the only encoding but not the decoding part. So text classification, then named entity recognition, question answering, sentiment analysis. Oh, some use cases I put, if I search, I will get, some hundreds of use cases which the Google does, right? So probably you can try searching for different applications where BERT is actually used. So now, what is the advantages? So advantages is that it's a state-of-art performance on NLP benchmarks, and then it's a pre-trained model with a fine-tuned architecture. Obviously, because it is using transformers, it is very strong. So fast to adapt to downstream tasks, open source and widely adopted. So what are the limitations? Is computationally expensive for inference. I already told you, whatever is being used for generative AI is costly. So that is, you and I cannot do anything, because it is basically hardware is expensive. To run this, to run these models, you need a better hardware. So if you have to use a better hardware, so obviously it will be a costly affair. So that is the problem. And it is not used for text generation because it is not a GPT model. It's not an encoder. Sorry, it's not a decoder model. It's only an encoding model. So now let us see the applications of generative AI. So now generative AI, before it was only limited to labs, but it was not only limited to labs now. So it is used everywhere, like the software development, healthcare, drug industry, everywhere, right? So the tools are, one of, our favorite tool is the ChatGPT, which is a conversational AI, and we have something called as Jasper, right, and copy.ai. So Google Translate and DeepL. So all these are language translators. So use cases are writing emails, translating, summarizing, creating documents, social media posts. So many we can actually do with the current generative AI tools or AI applications or tools. So for image generators, our most famous DALI is there. So, Mid-Journey, even Mid-Journey was also interesting. Actually, I was trying Mid-Journey, today. So it was actually really good, because I have, I've been using this Sora actually, because I have this ChatGPT Plus. So, I've not tried much of other except, Microsoft Copilot. Much of I've not tried because many of the AI applications are actually costly. So, you have to purchase. So I've been using this DALI and Sora, extensively to generate any images. So even the stable diffusion also I've tried. It is actually good. Mid-Journey as well as the stable diffusion. So, use cases, you can come across many use cases. There are n number of use cases. So if I say 2, 3, it doesn't justify them. So we have so many. So next is the code generation part. So probably if you have any questions, you can just take it up. Just give, ask any questions if you have. You can post your questions here if you have anything. Okay, so fine. If I'm getting anything, I'll just answer. Okay, so let us talk about the code generation part. So particularly applications like the GitHub Copilot, which is used for generating the codes. So this GitHub is actually linked with open. Yesterday one person was asking how this I remember, right, between the link between ChatGPT and this GitHub. So GitHub is actually a repository, and we have a lot of codings, a lot of projects. So all these things, this OpenAI GPT has actually learned, and by using those codes or programming what has been done, it actually helps you to generate the code, right? So it helps you in that perspective. That's why they have tied up with the GitHub. That's actually a really good thing, that you know, because before I used to search in GitHub if I want any, related project or something like that, when I was, working to, develop something. But now, we can use this ChatGPT or, OpenAI ChatGPT to, to get a particular piece of code, whatever we want, which is related to us. So instead of searching in GitHub, it automatically generates. So that is the advantage. Because all these what it is generating are, it has learned from the, programming what is there in the GitHub. Okay, so probably you can just research on this GitHub. You can just log in with your Gmail and you can use this. So next is music and audio. So this one only I was telling you. I have not tried with this jukebox and music gen. So this jukebox is from OpenAI. Okay, and this music gen is from the Meta. So probably you can maybe or you may try, right? So yeah. So next is on the drug discovery. So particularly tools like the DeepMind AlphaFold, which is the DeepMind one. So predicts protein folding with higher accuracy. So obviously in the medical field, I am a big fan of artificial intelligence being used in the medical field. It has done a lot of wonders. So in silico medicine, so AI driven drug discovery and molecule generation. So the use cases are developing the drug for rare diseases, doing researches. So it's a very important area where generative AI has put its lake. So right, so here maybe after that we will just see one demo. Before that, probably you can just take a break and you can just come back. You can just post your question here. Just give me a minute. Yeah. So you can just post your question here if you have a question, so that after the break I can just answer that. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. During the break, I got good questions being asked. Okay, so let me answer. Um, does it mean ChatGPT has trained itself on GitHub data too? Yes, it has trained Sairaj. Yeah, Sairaj. Yes. So yes, it has trained on the GitHub because OpenAI has completely tied up with the GitHub. So it's completely because GitHub is a separate organization and OpenAI is a separate organization. So they've tied up with them, and now they have access for all the repositories in GitHub. So that is why only your ChatGPT is able to generate codes also, because it is also training from the repositories. Okay, can you clarify that how we start? How can we use BERT model, sir? Why you want to use, already you are using the BERT model, no, Chandni? You are doing Google search, you are using BERT. That's it, done. So, no, just jokes apart. So actually, see, BERT is not just about Google search, it's also about, you know, this image to text classification, text to image classification or conversion. So we have we have different areas where BERT is actually being used. One example I can tell you is one example you can think of is, probably you might not be using but you might be knowing about Google Pixel phones, right? So Google Pixel phones has a lot of AI technology, AI, machine learning, and deep learning technologies which are embedded. And if you use a Pixel phone, I would say you will see a lot of applications where what Google has developed. So that technology, not all the technology, he's actually selling to all the companies. So I would say that you will be seeing AI in action because see, it is developed by Google. So Frank, see, if you think logically, right, all in the Google applications or Google, hardware only, you can see this BERT. So this Google search, what I was telling about, this one is, it's a public one which they have actually given. So obviously we are using one, but you can see in Google specific applications also. Uh, like the Google Gemini, you can see a lot of BERT technology which is actually embedded. So you cannot actually see with your own eye because that BERT is a model. Uh, so yes. Next is hi Shashank sir, Transformers architects supposed to only one company or just no, it is actually they sold to other companies also. Google has sold to other companies. If they have not done, generative AI completely would have been owned only by Google because Transformers architecture has been developed by Google's brain team. So yeah, they have sold it to others also. Everybody has their own way of developing a model. So even actually I would say Nvidia also has its own generative AI models and architectures what they have actually developed. So yeah, you can also research on Nvidia. I will also tell you a few things on Nvidia. During AI agents, I will tell you. Probably I think it will come in day 5 or day 6. I'll tell you in AI agents, I'll take up the concept of NVIDIA also. I'm probably looking also to take up on AMD also because AMD is also a big player. So why leave AMD also? Let us not only touch about NVIDIA. So and that is one thing we will be doing as well. So you'll be understanding that how things in the modern industry how they are working. That is very important to understand how companies are using the generative AI models based on the architecture what they have and how the architecture is also being transformed and how it is being used. That is very important thing which as a normal user, we have to understand if we are interested in generative AI. So if you just want to use the AI applications, you need not understand, what's a transformer. Why do we want to know what is BERT? Not required. But if you want to, dig deep into generative AI, you want to understand generative AI, you want to, build something, you want to use extensively, you want to do, a lot of research to understand, right? So probably, then it will actually help you to understand inside out that what powers them, right? And how, things are, being transformed using the transformers. That's actually a very, good sentence. So how are things transformed using the transformers? So, why do you like AI in the field of modern diagnosis? See, Jitendra, yeah. So actually, why do you like in AI field? So see, I would say that AI, particularly in medical field, it is actually helping human beings. So I don't know why you felt like that. Probably you have your own perspective. Probably, in a few things you might say it might be risky, but in a few things it is actually good. But on the whole, if you if you say that, but there are a lot of good things, I would say, particularly with the diagnosis part, helping the patients, so many areas where they are using in the medical field. So that is actually helping mankind. So I would say it's not doing any harm. You know, probably 90% good, I would say, maybe 10% of bad. Yeah, I'll stick to 90-20, sorry, 90-10. 90% good it is doing in, and 10% bad maybe. So obviously there will be two sides for, good and bad for everything. Public-private repo booth. What is this public-private repo booth? I'm not sure what it is. Can you reframe, Sairaj? Settle one example for agentic AI in smart home by using our generative models. Okay, so smart homes is one classical example where you can use the agentic AI. This I agree with you. No, I'm not saying it is not doing any harm, but positives are more. Yeah, so I will definitely stick to my because I've read a lot of articles how things are how good it is doing. So yeah, I'll stick to that. Okay. So other than smart homes, you can think of particularly autonomous vehicles. So autonomous vehicles is one more example of agentic AI. So why autonomous vehicles, self-driving cars are examples also. Yeah, you will not get a better example than this. It's a very classical example. Maybe smart home. Maybe you're not that much happy. Okay, fine, no problem. So autonomous vehicles is one thing which you can remember as an agentic AI model. Why? Because in in that particular model, you have multiple AI agents, right? So multiple sensors are there which actually act as an individual agent. Okay, so it powers all these agents together and it communicates and it processes. So the autonomous vehicle or a self-driven car, you can say that it is the technology of agentic AI. Okay. So that is one thing. Thank you, sir. I agree with you. Yeah. So does ChatGPT trained on both public and private repo? Both of GitHub. Yeah, it has trained on both because it has trained on both. Yes. Who is that who asked? Sairaj. Yeah, it has trained on both. Yes. See, the concerns with the AI are, always the privacy issues are obviously there because, always it tries to use our, internal data, or I can say private data. So the risk of using, the having a privacy concern is always there with the, AI models. But, we need the models to train. So we need data. So we also, as a end user, has to understand that we should the companies has to make sure that they don't misuse the data. See, using the data for the training purpose and building a model which is actually helping us, right? So as an end user, we are actually enjoying the benefits of this model building. It should stay that way. I hope the companies don't misuse that. That is very important, because starting off, to misuse the data will actually, create panic and create disturbances and a lot of legal issues also when it comes to data private data being accessed by the companies. So, is it that the time passes, the ratio of accuracy of AI will be better near to 99%? It's a tough question to answer, actually. Yeah, very interesting question. So we thrive on building an accuracy. Probably you might be knowing about machine learning and deep learning models. What we try to build. So okay. So getting a good accuracy score, right, both on training and validation data set is very important, because it's not just about having a good score just on the training data, but also it is very important to have on the validation data set as well. So it is required to have done both. So model building is extremely important, and accuracy is being done well. I was actually generating images in multiple AI applications, and I found out a few have they have generated, in their perspective, they have generated I would say good image by the model what they have built. But as an end user, because human being has emotions, right? He has the thinking and that brain what a machine doesn't have. So by looking at what we got from the machine, we can actually we figure it out that we figure it out that okay, this is good, that is not good. But in the perspective of the model, it doesn't know, it's a machine at the end of the day. So it deploys, or it actually creates something which actually what it is has been trained on, right? So that is always a challenge for any AI model, right? Because it is being trained on a limited data. So they're trying to reach to unlimited possibilities of different ways. That is why the transformers also were capable of generating synthetic data, which was a major breakthrough in the field of training. But still, unlimited possibilities of training on multiple data, and getting the model built is extremely their companies are trying to do the best. But still, every company cannot have the access to the best data possible. So the things may go here and there, right, based on certain scenarios and situations. So that is why you see the difference in usage of multiple applications. So yeah, that's the answer to the question. So what are the key challenges in deploying multi-model generative models in production environments? Okay, yeah, it's a bit of interesting question. So what are the key challenges deploying multi-model? Key challenges in production environments, because I would say one problem or challenge is the biasness, particularly because in production environment, this multi-model are tend to, maybe it may tend to have a bit of bias. So Sanika Ravindra, okay. So the biasness might actually bit of creep in, because how the misinformation is handled in so it will actually, it's not just about AI. Before also, this much of generative AI, before it happened also, the most important aspect is, cleaning the data and, preparing the data for data quality. So this has been there from a lot of years. It's not a new aspect which has actually come up, but I would say, that the technology, this generative AI models, what they are capable of doing is they can actually, understand the context, understand the situations, and it will analyze each situation, and it will try to read the data. So to actually fix this problem only, the generation of synthetic data sets have been actually erased. So a similar kind of data is actually prepared, right? Prepared by the machine to train. That is in where this one part of handling this misinformation is also preparing of the synthetic data. So it will analyze the real-time data sets. It will try to analyze how data quality can be there, how data, misinterpretations also or misinformations can be there, and how these things work. So it will understand, it will actually gather the information. That is what this reinforcement learning is also about. So reinforcement learning is about, getting the right kind of data for the right kind of situation. So that is in where the synthetic data is playing a very important role, especially, in many fields, particularly, particularly in medical field. So that is for biasness impact. That is why the models will be tested to, with the real time environment. So what is the guarantee? I'm asking you a question now. So what is the guarantee that, you'll be, training the data and testing the data and you have good accuracy? How much of guarantee is there that, when you deploy the model into the real world, right? So this model will function very accurately, right? So, what is the guarantee? Sir, no, we are training, using this thing, that thing, different models. We are, we are trying to eliminate this, that, and okay, Baba, fine, good. We are doing many things, applying, not only just machine learning models, but also we are applying, deep learning models. We are also doing the neural networks. We are doing multiple things, right? I'm not saying no, but how well, right, in the real time when it comes out, right? Sir, we are training on the real time data. Okay, fine, that is also fine. But how much guarantee is there that this model really works? Really means really, really works perfectly in the real time. So it's a hit and a miss, right? So based on, the feedbacks, right? Based on the feedbacks and the observations, what has actually happened in the real world. So they tune the model, right? They tune the model in such a way that it actually helps it in the real life. So this is what actually happens in the real-time environment. So, real projects where worked on also, we do the same. So, we deploy, we check the feedbacks, we, consistently upgrade them, right? We, we maintain the models. So yeah, there are a lot of aspects. So project deployment doesn't mean just throw the project in the real world and just use it. No, it's not like that. It doesn't happen, with the real-time environment. So how do companies make sure they protect people's private data when training with big models like DALL-E, ChatGPT that use a lot of images and text on the internet? Yes, yeah, it is a good question, but I've already answered this question in a in a different way. So I'll tell you in a simple way where uh, see these images, right? So for example, if you actually use something, probably a particular image, it might look very similar to the real world as well. Actually, AI tries to, make it, in such a way that it looks very real, right? it looks very real. So it tries to map it to the real-time images as well. So probably, if you see something, you might feel that, okay, this looks very similar to my image. Okay, so this can happen with AI. This can happen. Why? Because these are actually training on the real-time images or real-time data, right? So in that, your images might be there, right? So privacy concerns, I told you, it is very important to protect the information that the company, right? So here and there mishaps might happen, right? Because it is actually a machine. So at the end of the day, it's a machine, but it's not a human being, right? So even human being does mistakes, no? Who is not doing mistakes, correct, no? So, we actually, machine is only, performing at a higher accuracy than a human being in the real world, if you ask me. So I would not complain usage of AI, because I feel we have to go in hand, and we have to co-live with the AI models, or I can say generative AI or agentic AI or AI agents, whatever you might call. So we have to co-live with that. So there are a bit of security issues, but you are enjoying the the see, you see the brighter side. You're enjoying the fruits what this AI is giving you, no? Then why you're complaining, right? So when you're enjoying, there might be bit of loss. So enjoy. Also try to understand and go with the flaws as well. So that is what I will tell you. Yes. So anything else? We had, a lot of questions actually. Before the break, nobody asked me questions. Only one or two questions I got. So I was asking if you have any questions, but after the break, so many questions poured in. Maybe so much of thought you have given during the break that what sir was teaching, how we can link this to the real time environment, how concepts, what I'm teaching, which you can link to the real time. Good. So that means I would say that you are thinking in the generative AI perspective, that how things can actually work. So it's good. Yeah, I'm happy that you're thinking in that AI perspective. So what changes or new things can we expect in how companies will multimodal generative AI? So from 2025 to 30, yeah, 5 years is so much, because yearly development is happening now with so many so many upgradations, right? So many AI features, right from the smartphones what you are using, to the laptops also, because laptops also have evolved with the AI technology using NPU, neural processing unit. So things have changed over the past couple of years, particularly. We can say that new things will be developed. So interesting things which can actually help humankind. So I don't think any AI technology is useless, I would say. I will not agree with something which is useless. There is nothing actually like that. Everything is useful in its own way, and we are actually using, and we are enjoying the benefits out of it. So so don't look at the negative side. Everything will have negative aspects. So that is one thing I'll tell you. So let me go to the PPT. Was actually wanted to show you Claude as well. Just let me log into Claude. Just let me show you the Claude. And also let me open the ChatGPT also. Let's show you. Okay, so let me share my screen. I'll just show you how actually things work. Yeah, probably you can see this. Okay, so this is Claude actually. Probably you might be knowing Claude. Okay, it is showing Seshan agitated. Okay, so this is ChatGPT. Okay, so I'm using this ChatGPT Plus. Okay, so I'm using this 4.0 model. Okay, so we have this 4.5 as well, kind of right now. It's more. I've not explored that, but 4.0 is good actually. It is great for almost many tasks. Here you can see a sideline. Okay, and here you can actually click on the new chat, right? So probably you would have already used it. So many actually would have not used this Claude. Okay, so ChatGPT Plus I'm using. This up. There's one more plan with Pro, but I'm using this Plus one. This Claude I've not purchased, but we have this upgrade option for Claude, so which is actually around some $17-20, something like that. 17, I guess. Yeah, get a Pro plan. Yeah, basically Claude is, but Claude is also like a assistant which you can use for free, like the ChatGPT. So I'll just take one query or prompt, okay, to show you that how it is actually different from different AI applications, because the training what it is doing, it is different, right? So in the Claude, I'm just putting this. This one I mentioned in the PPT as well. I just copy pasted from the PPT. So write a short poem on education in the AI era. Okay. So I'm just running this query. So if I run this, you can see, Claude is, giving one particular, this one particular poem or poem, what it has given. So we said behind the words and all, you can read it later. And here it is showing that it can make mistakes. So verify before, using it for, okay. That is one thing. And now you can use the same thing. We said, probably you can read it later and you can try it. The same thing, let us use it in ChatGPT, right? And let us see that what ChatGPT generates. Okay. So education in the AI era by ChatGPT. So this is the, I would say, the the poem it has generated. So in halls, once filled with chalk and slate, now screen. So like that, it is generated a particular poem. So this is how it is generated. So both are different from what it has generated. So why I showed you this is, see, this Claude has access to different kind of model, right? Because the data which is used in Claude might be a bit different, right? So to build the LLM model, I can say probably even this might be it's a GPT, right? So obviously this is using a transformer architecture only. Correct, no. But it might be, using some other kind of data, because whatever it has access for that, it might have actually built upon. So same with the GPT, Chat GPT also. So this, is using one more, kind of data. So that is one thing. So probably, Chat GPT you might be aware of, but Claude you might not have actually used it, if I am right. So probably you can, try that. So one more, just give me a minute. I just open this Sora. Just wanted to show you Sora also. So let us generate one image. Okay. So probably now you can see this Sora, right? So this is Claude, this is ChatGPT, and this is Sora. Okay. So this basically, this Sora is a product of OpenAI. Okay. So if you are having, ChatGPT Plus or ChatGPT Pro, even Plus, if you have, you can use Sora for multiple you know, a generation of images. That doesn't matter. Okay, so at least plus you have to use for using this Sora. So you can see here Open AI symbol, right? So you can see this Open AI symbol, which is for, you know, in ChatGPT you can see, correct? Now here you can see the symbol, right? So the same thing you can see it in Sora. So that means it tells you that the Sora is actually a product of ChatGPT. Okay, so here you can see also see sora.chatgpt.com/explore. So this is basically which belongs to ChatGPT. Now here you have a certain images which are actually developed in Sora. Okay, so you can actually, you know, click on this. You can see the prompt which is actually given here. Okay, it is actually you know, in French. Okay, so it's a French prompt. So, you know, maybe we can try some other thing also. Okay, so this is, here you can see the prompt down. Okay, so this is the prompt which actually has generated that particular image. Now what will we do is we will put one prompt. Okay, so let me give you one prompt to try in Sora. Okay, so here you can describe your image. Okay, so a futuristic classroom powered by AI. So let me generate this. So if you generate this, you know, so why I'm particularly using Sora is Sora I have access because I'm using the ChatGPT Plus. Okay, so there are other AI applications also, but a few are free, few are paid. So it's like, you know, mixed approach, right? So I'm just using this and it is processing here, if you can see. Okay, so you have the activity. Okay, so I just tried this. Here you can check. Okay, so this is processing. Okay, it is processing two images. This is the prompt I have given. You can see here. See, a futuristic classroom powered by AI. Okay, so this is the prompt I have given. A small prompt for you to understand. Okay, so this is actually processing. It takes a bit of time to process the image because it has to convert, it has to understand the context, it has to convert from text to image, right? So it takes a bit of time based on the, you know, probably internet speed or, you know, the model which it is actually using. Okay, so let us just to wait till it finishes. Yeah, it's almost done. Huh. See, now you can see the images. So it has generated two kinds of images. So one is actually with a robot, one with a robot, and one it has generated, you know, with an actual person, right? So this is what it has actually generated. So here you can actually, you know, click on one and you can actually download this image. Okay, so if you click on download, it will download the image also. So if you can give the feedback here. This feedback, if you put it to favorite or, you know, like it, so it will consider that you like the, you know, image. So if you give, you know, feedback, you know, negative, it will actually try to, you know, understand what you want, and it might give you know, some other. So here you have edit prompt, so you can edit it, right? And you can actually give a different one. Okay, so that is how actually, you know, things work. So we'll see even more prompts. You know, we'll just see a bit more actually, just not now. Let me just finish a few things what I have in mind. Just give me a minute. Let me share the. Let me share my screen once again. So now let us understand that, this is the two things what I have actually, showed you using Claude and ChatGPT. And this is for the DALI. Okay. So Binge image creator, you can try it later. Okay. So now let us see the role of educators, particularly in the field of generative AI, right? So now, framing this topic as generative AI now is actually an integral part. Educators face a, key question, right? How can we use it to enhance education, or you can say teaching, while uploading ethics and learning outcomes? So this is the biggest this is the biggest challenge what teachers or faculty or mentors have kind of right now, right? And even the students also now looking faculty as more like a mentors, right? Because they are guiding you. So with the role of generative AI in what we are actually using, how things, how are how we are actually integrating into our real time or real life. So that is very important, that how this is actually influencing the our area, how we are learning things. So particularly in the generation of curriculum designs, case studies, right? All these things are playing a very important role, right? So a few things you can just go through it later. So auto upgradations, like auto gradings, generating quiz questions, using for mock interviews, right? So content generation also can be done using less for lesson plans, discussions, right? So ethical concerns, this is one area, a few people were also asking me today. So ethical concerns is particularly in the academic integrity, where there is always a risk of having plagiarism when something is generated on its own, right? So that is one one thing which we have to keep in mind. So that is why we say that Gen AI is basically an assistant, not a substitute, right? So that is why I use the word co-living with AI, not replacing. So many people ask, will AI replace human beings? No, it will not replace. It is an assistant. It is not a replaceable or a substitute to us. So deepfakes, or I can say, and misinformation. So need to teach media literacy and critical thinking. That is very important, because there's a risk that usage of too much of AI, it might not help our critical thinking or understanding also. So we or as a human being, we have to keep that in mind. It is very important that you keep that thing in mind. So one quote which I wanted to tell is, Gen AI is not here to replace the educators. It's here to empower them. So with thoughtful use, we can make learning more inclusive, creative, and future ready. So this is how things can be integrated, particularly a tool like a ChatGPT, how it can be integrated into the higher education or the education area, what we are actually learning. So the opportunities, what are the challenges, what are the barriers, what are the priorities, right? So always there are opportunities for everything. There are also challenges for, right? So 24/7 is one support what we can have. Personalized tutoring can be done. Learning also can be done. So supplemental learning resource, language learning and communication skills, support for instructors and teaching assistants, innovative learning experience, research and data analysis. Then what are the challenges are basically academic integrity, quality control, personalized learning, expertise and authority, communication and collaboration. So what are the barriers is lack of awareness, how to use it, technological barriers, this is very important, resistant to change, ethical and privacy concerns, academic rigor and quality, resource constraints, legal and regulation considerations. So it is not without its challenges and barriers. So priorities are policy development, education and training, collaboration and interdisciplinary efforts, research and development, ethical review process, continuous monitoring and evaluation. So these are some of the things which are or which should be considered. So now let us see, before we wind up for today, so let us understand what are language models, which are large language models. So these LLMs are, like a foundation for particularly the, generative AI, what we are seeing in the present day world. So these are basically used to make the AI systems understand the language. So for example, how the machine understands the English language and how it will act. So they're the brains behind tools like the ChatGPT, Claude, and Google Gemini. So what are the key characteristics? Are they train on huge amount of data, right? Datas, websites, books, articles, and much more. And these are using the transformer architecture. By this time, you might be very clear that what is happening inside generative AI. So the core innovation allowing them to understand the context and relationships in the data. So can generate, summarize, translate, and even reason based on text input. So how do they work? So transformer architecture basics built around self-attention mechanisms that help the model decide which words matter most in a sentence. So model learns patterns and relationships across billions of words. So in a sentence, if you say the bank is on the river, the model uses the context to know that bank refers to a geography but not a finance. So these are some of the popular LLM models which are actually there in the market, like the ChatGPT's OpenAI. Then we have the Meta AI. Then we have the Llama models, right? And then we have the Google Gemini, which is Claude also is there, right? Grok, then Perplexity, and much more are there in the current industry, right? So now, what can LLMs do, right? So they can do a various things. By this time, we would have already understood that. So it can generate text, it can summarize, it can translate, it can do reasoning, it can do the code generation. So there are multiple areas where these LLMs are basically used. Now, let us see a simple prompt that explains Newton's third law to a 10-year-old, right? So if you say that, explain Newton's third law, it might give, in a normal way, right? But if you say that explain it to a, Newton's third law to a 10-year-old, so the outcome, right? Or the, the generated text or example might be different, right? It might be, in an easier way because he's a 10-year-old. So now let us see prompting paradigms, right? So probably if you have any questions, maybe we can cover that, and we can take this paradigms to next session. Or if you don't have any questions, we can continue. So I'll just wait for a couple of minutes. Sir has shared attendance also. You can just mark your attendance and feedback. Yeah. So you can just post your questions if you have any. Based on the questions, let us, discuss, or let us, let me answer the questions, or let us continue with the prompting paradigms. Okay, I think there are no questions. Yeah, probably I think I can continue. Okay, great. Okay, so I hope you're very clear on what we are learning. Yeah. So let us see the prompting paradigms. And when it comes to the generative models, there are three different styles of prompting, right? So, when it comes to the prompting aspects, there are three different styles. One is the zero shot. Second thing is the few shot. And then we have chain of thought kind of prompting. So there are three kinds of prompting: zero shot, few shot, and chain of thought. So now let us understand that how these, or how on what each prompting does, right? Which kind of prompting we are doing, and which kind of prompting we are giving, whether we are giving a zero shot or a few shot or a chain of thought. Let us understand. So the first thing is the zero shot prompting. So this is a very simple prompt. So that means you don't give anything complicated, like, example, like summarize this article. For example, like explain generative AI. That's it. Okay, maybe explain generative AI with an example. So like this, you give something. So probably you can give a model without an example also, or we would say maybe very simple. Okay. So something which is very, very simple prompt comes into the category of zero shot prompting. So next is the few shot prompting. So few shot prompting is nothing but with examples, like at least 1 to 3 examples, or 1 to 4. So giving a bit more context, or a bit more specific thing to that particular prompt, right, is what basically the few shot prompting is about. So next thing is the chain of thought prompting. So chain of thought prompting is completely different from zero shot and few shot. So here reasoning comes into the picture. That means solving, logical thinking, right? Reasoning. All these aspects come into the picture when it is chain of thought prompting. So that means there is some thinking involved by the model to answer a particular thing. For example, you give a particular problem to solve, so it has to think and it has to logically answer something which is complex and which actually needs a chain of thought, or something which needs a thinking cap on to answer a question, basically becomes a chain of thought chain of thought prompting. So now let us try and understand, since you don't have any questions, yeah, nobody has pinged it. Okay, so we'll continue, the concept with prompt engineering. So what is prompt engineering? What is the, most important things inside a prompt engineering? So let us understand what is prompt engineering first, or AI prompt engineering, in a very simple thing. So you give a particular prompt, or you give a particular text, right? Based on that particular text, you get an answer, right? So how it is actually getting is, it uses models, right? And to generate, like the GPT models, to generate the text. So it has the role. So to generate that, it uses the databases, right? So it uses the information from different places that is actually built as a model. So something which is actually built as a model, and it is actually being used. So there are 12 different prompt engineering techniques. Okay, so a simple way to understand a prompt: we have zero prompt, few shot, and chain of thought prompt. But when you dig deep into different kinds of prompt engineering, there are multiple kinds of prompts, right? So one is least to most, self-ask, meta prompt, chain of thought, react, symbolic reasoning, PAL, iterative prompting, right? Sequential prompting, self-consistency, automatic reasoning and tool use, ART, then generative, generated knowledge. So these are the different kinds of promptings which actually are there when it comes to kinds of prompting. So all these kinds of prompts, without your knowledge, you are using it in a chat GPT. So you are giving no context oriented, this kind of thing I need, that kind of thing you need. So that is called prompting, right? You, that is not a chat, it's actually a we, it looks like chatting, but it is basically giving you're giving a prompt, right? So this is how I want, this is how I want you to give it to me. So you are giving that. Actually, in a technical language, we are calling it as a prompt. Okay. So these are the few important things when it comes to prompts. That is, prompt, context based, token based, fine tuning, and priming one. Okay. So I think no questions. You can go ahead. Okay. Right. Now let us see the best practices. Okay. How to write in prompt engineering. Okay. So probably we can continue this in the next session. If you have any doubts, you can ask, because this is actually a big concept, so it might go out of time. So we'll stop here. So probably you can probably you would have understood what is a prompt engineering or prompts. Based on that, we can build upon. Okay. So in tomorrow's session, we'll just continue, what is a, from there we'll continue. Okay. So what is a prompt engineering? So any questions? We have 4 minutes left. Please ping your questions in the chat box if you have. I'll answer your questions before we wind up for today's session. Chain of thought in simple terms. Okay. Chain of thought in simple terms, something which needs to think, something which needs, logical reasoning, problem solving. It's, it has to logically think, answer, solve. All these things can be put in the category of chain of thought. So if you're asking, you're giving a certain problem and asking the, GPT to solve, it is basically a chain of thought problem. Something which it has to think. Just not like explain. I have given you an example. For example, you just wanted to know the definition, what is generative AI. So you just give explain generative AI, or you give what are AI agents. You give what is agentic AI, right? Or if you give what is chain of thought. So just giving a simple prompt, it is actually picking the definitions, right? And it is picking any formulas if it is having any functions or something like that. So if it is doing something like that, which is very basic, that is basically a zero shot prompting. So few shot is with some examples, and chain of thought is with logical thinking. I would, you can remember as something which has logical thinking involved. How will work? How will work prompting? So how this prompting has to be done, that we will talk in the tomorrow's session. That's why I stopped. It is a big concept, so it will take a bit of time. Okay, so tomorrow we'll start with how to prompt. Okay, and I have a few prompts also which we will try as well. Okay, so we will generate some images. I just showed you one just for sample today, just one text generation and one image, but we will see a few prompts where we can actually how do we give in order to achieve something, that we will see in tomorrow's session. So any other attendance links, sir, already shared. Yeah. Sir, another minute. If nobody's asking any questions, we can wind up. Just looking at the questions.
Yeah, okay, sir. Then we'll wind up.
Yeah, that's what I'm just checking. I think no. I just got one. Is there a generative model to texting? I'll tell you. I'll answer you this because a few models. I'll show you a few AI tools which we can generate images, and we will do that. I'll show you tomorrow. I have some 7, 8 which I have done some research on to show you guys. So we'll do that. Fine, Amar sir. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you, students. We'll see you tomorrow.